Sam Seder debated like 20 Republicans or something on Jubilee, and it got straight up disturbing at some points. This person argues white Christian culture is superior. Just listen to this.
What's the problem with xenophobic nationalism? Don't you think that's better for Americans in general?
Xenophobic nationalism, i.e., exclude people from culture and from the country who are not white and who don't believe that like white people have a mandate to control the country. And you may think to yourself, okay, you're taking this a little bit too far. She didn't say that. Just wait. She does.
Xenophobic nationalism is better.
We should have a coherent culture. Everyone should be a part of the same culture.
I think she meant cohesive, but okay.
We should have assimilation.
Which, do you get to choose what the culture is?
We already have a dominant culture.
What is
based
the
on
dominant
European
culture?
and Christian values and identity.
By the way, the algorithm is hitting me hard right now, completely ignoring me. So I'd appreciate if you watch to the end of the video. Having increased watch time as a percentage and a raw number is what pushes the video further. Also check out my books, owenmorgan.com. All right, back to the video. Okay, so I've just kind of tried to draw out what she's saying here. She's saying that she doesn't want to see Mexicans eating tacos outside, in the city or whatever. She doesn't want taco trucks on the side of the road. She doesn't want like Italian restaurants seemingly because she thinks that they should assimilate into white culture, basically. White culture is superior. That's what she's saying. Again, you think I'm taking this too far. Just keep listening here.
Dominant culture.
What is
based
the
on
dominant
European
culture?
And Christian values and identity.
When she says European, she means white.
That is the dominant culture.
White Christian,
it's rooted in European identity.
White. So your argument is
that has been the
Oh my God, she won't shut the up for a second. Dude hasn't had an opportunity to talk, but this is another debate tactic to filibuster. The more time you get in talking in a debate, the more likely it is people will say that you've won. And it's obnoxious. I cannot stand it. Oh my God. It's part of the reason why I don't debate. Or I don't debate unless, I do debate, but this is why I don't like debating unless there's like a more structured time schedule or whatever. Because people do like this. This is just like underhanded, dirty, scumbag shit.
The dominant culture.
Just to be
and
clear.
We're not letting people assimilate to that. We're saying you should keep your culture, and this is why our culture's so divided.
Your argument is that Trump is good for those who want a dominant white European culture.
I mean, that is what America is.
There you go. She said it. I know you were thinking to yourself, oh, and okay, that's a little too far. You said white. She didn't say white. She said European. Close enough. But if that wasn't close enough for you, he reframes it and she accepts it.
Is good for those who want a dominant white European culture.
I mean, that is what America is. It's rooted in European identity and Christian values.
Again, when she says European identity, she means white identity. This is the exact shit that you would hear coming out of the mouths of the KKK. This is exactly, word for word, what the Nazis said in Germany in the 20s, in the 30s. Identical.
That's what it has been. Would you really disagree with that? What is it then if that's not the identity of America?
Well, I think the identity of
For the
America,
majority of time.
Oh my God, shut the up. Let somebody get a word in edgewise, please. Just a scumbag debate tactic. I cannot stand it.
What is it then if that's not the identity of America?
Well, I think the identity of
For the
America,
majority of time, America's been a country. You don't think that's been the identity?
Well, actually, no. I think actually the identity of America has been, for better or for worse, a melting pot in that regard.
Yeah, maybe since like the 1960s.
You know why she chose that decade, the 60s? Because that's when the Civil Rights Act passed, 1965, I think, and forced integration, school integration. It officially ended segregation. You were not allowed to prevent black kids from attending the same school as white kids. And it was this big thing. I mean, Billy Graham, televangelist, his church services were segregated by choice. Civil Rights Act banned that kind of thing in the 60s. So I think it's kind of an interesting time frame to pick there.
Pot in that regard.
Yeah, maybe since like the 1960s. Even then, even we had this idea of a melting pot literally means assimilation too.
No, it doesn't. I lived in New York City for 5 years, just moved out of there. And if anywhere is like, if any city in the United States deals with immigration at all in a unique way, it would be New York City. There are people of all types, all backgrounds. You know, there's a German district and there's an Italian district, a Mexican district. And some areas of New York City are separated into what's called melting pots and salad bowls. Salad bowl would be like Chinatown being right next to Little Italy, for example. A melting pot is where people of all races and backgrounds and ethnicities and everything else all live on like the Upper East Side or whatever. They all live there. We all work together. We all go to school together. We all whatever. That's a melting pot. We all have our own unique, interesting cultures that we practice. You know, there was a person across the hall from us that like cooked traditional Mexican food every night. And, you know, the smell would waft into the hallway of the Mexican food. There was a sushi place downstairs and we could smell tempura all the time. There are so many different cultures that people practice, but we still all live together and it's a melting pot. Doesn't mean assimilation necessarily. And by the way, New York City, greatest city in the world. And it's full of people from all different backgrounds and interests and everything. So I don't want to hear any of this nonsense about how white culture is superior and everybody should just follow white culture. Bullshit. You know what white culture is? Racism, segregation, and support for the KKK. That's white culture. You want to talk about Irish culture? There's a lot to Irish culture. Talk about German culture, Nordic culture, ton of stuff that we can talk about, you know, language and foods and all kinds of stuff. You talk about Chinese culture, you want to talk about British culture, Icelandic culture, whatever. But white culture is racism. That's it. You don't have white pride. You have Irish pride or German pride or whatever. Because white pride signals that you are interested in intentionally, specifically oppressing people.
It means melting. It means you're assimilating to the dominant culture. Is that not what melting means?
No.
She has no idea what she's talking about.
And now instead we're saying there's something wrong with xenophobia.
Dominant culture. No. I mean, look, I got to be honest with you. Like, you and I have a fundamental disagreement. We will never see eye to eye on this. It's a choice. And people, I think what you're expressing, though, is really what the Trump movement at its heart is about.
Absolutely. Pure, unadulterated racism that you would hear from the mouths of the KKK. In fact, KKK members say this stuff all the time. And who do you think KKK members are voting for, by the way? Do you think it was Kamala? You think they were voting for the black woman? Anyway, yeah, that's what we had to deal with. It was absolutely insane. Let me know what you think about it in the comments.